It's Cody and Connor with Between Two Birds. It's the best sports podcast that you've ever heard. With the Orioles and Ravens, it's the best of Baltimore. With all the sporting news that you're looking for. Between Two Birds, enjoy the show. Between Two Birds, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of appropriate ages, welcome to the Between Two Birds podcast. I'm your host, Cody Colston.
And I'm sick.
And we would have Charlie Hops with us if I weren't a just terrible podcaster. We meant to record the other day, but I fell asleep and we missed out on having Charlie Hops on the podcast. So if you were looking forward to that or, wanted that instead of this, blame me. I take the blame. You can just blame Connor for being sick. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
It's going to be a bit of a short cast today. Oh, damn, I wasted it. All right.
Oh, well.
That was bad. Pause. But we're going to jump right into it. Talk a little baseball, then Orioles, and then we add a story time with Connor at the end. No football because the Super Bowl's over. Who really cares? I mean, come on.
Here's your Super Bowl recap. The game was boring.
It was boring. I mean, it was good in the defensive sense, but
No, it was boring. It's like every time you look up, oh, there's a punt. Oh, look, another punt.
Another fumble by Cam Newton. Look.
Another boring commercial. Okay.
Cam's gift game was on though.
It was.
And so many good gifts. So many. Anyway, we're just going to hop right into baseball. And kicking off, former Orioles player Delmon Young is arrested for, was it choking a valet?
Yeah, and then shouting racial slurs at him.
Yeah, he says, I was going to smack you with my money, you Cuban fucker, or something like that. Something to that extent.
What a nice guy.
No, and then the best part, I think, of that whole entire thing was supposedly when the cops went up to his hotel room after he left. They go up to his hotel room, he opens up the door, and he just has a t-shirt on. No pants, no underwear, full Donald Duck style.
That's one image I never want to think about ever again.
You don't like Delmon's dongs?
No, I don't like anything about him.
What about that double?
No. They pinched hit Flaherty for him. They could have just stuck Flaherty and he would have done the same thing. I don't care who talks bad about Ryan Flaherty. He's a good playoff hitter.
I know, but how? You gotta admire the balls on the guy to open the door to a police officer Donald Duck style, not giving a fuck.
I mean, a lot of old people do that too, but for obviously different reasons.
Well, it's because they don't care. Well, Delmon Young should care. He's a free agent baseball player.
I mean, if he's willing to show it off, good for him. But something I'd never do.
That story is so great.
I wonder how that translates into the police report. Suspect opens door, barring zero trousers and or undergarments.
Can we get the Fangraphs projections on what the over under is? A player gets arrested with no pants on.
Considering Nick Swisher is still in the league, probably pretty well.
All right, well, that's that. Next piece of news we got is Matt Latos signs to the Padres. He signs to the Padres for 1 year, $3 million. The Orioles were looking at him. Or no, not Padres, White Sox. Why did I say Padres? White Sox, not Padres. I apologize. And for 1 year, $3 million, he was looking for a 1 year deal to increase his value to get a bigger contract in the next offseason. The Orioles were looking at him. And I think it's come to the point now where 1 year contracts for pitchers are something the Orioles are never going to get just because of the fact they play in Camden Yards.
Yeah. When you're in probably the most predominant hitter's park in the American League, you're not going to get a guy trying to rebound his career.
Yeah, it's I mean, he's not. He had a good couple years with the Reds there. I mean, 2012, 2012 3.48 ERA, 2013 3.16 ERA, 2014 he had a 3.25, and then he was horrible. He played for 3 teams in 2015. He had almost a 5 ERA. So I mean, it's not like he was you knew what you were getting. It was just the fact that he wanted to prove he could pitch again, and it was just a value deal. It's a Nelson Cruz deal. So I mean.
In that essence, it's smart to go to the White Sox.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the sell is huge. Like I always see like whenever I play in that park in video games like the MLB The Show, it always amazes me how big the park is. Like that and Wrigley seem like they're just huge. Like it's purposely made huge in that game. So I mean, I can imagine why a lot of pitchers want to pitch there. Same thing with like Oakland or what's it? Minnesota. Minnesota's the other one.
Minnesota, yeah.
All big, huge pitchers parks. So, that's about it on that. I mean, the only reason I wanted him on the Orioles was because we don't have anybody else.
He's automatic number 1. And he doesn't even have to try out.
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, if he bounces back, I mean, you got him for a steal for 1 year. Nobody loses on a 1-year deal. You give him a qualifying offer, and you get the draft pick for him. Well, if not, it's only $3 million or whatever the Orioles would have paid him to actually come. But it is what it is. Other signings, talking about pitchers, Tyler Clippard signs with the D-backs for 2 years, $12.25 million. And I gotta say, I feel like that's a steal because Tyler Clippard is a great reliever that never gets any love because he's had 3 years with a sub-3 ERA.
I'm a big fan of the deal just because. The one thing that worried me about the Diamondbacks and them actually being a competitive team was their bullpen. And I think this helps it. I don't know to the full extent of how much, but it definitely has me a little bit more confident that they're going to be a little more consistent this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Diamondbacks easily get a wild card this year, but that's just me. But yeah, I think their bullpen is definitely a question. They have plenty of pitching. I mean, they don't necessarily have good pitching, but they have enough pitching to the point where they could throw it at a wall and see what sticks, and they're gonna come out with a net gain on that. But I think definitely their bullpen might have been a question mark, and Tyler Clippard helps solidify that. I don't know if it automatically makes the bullpen good, but
it doesn't hurt it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt it at all because he's a great pitcher. I would have, I think that's a great deal for the quality you're getting. But I mean, that's less than Andrew Miller, isn't it? Andrew Miller got like $10 million a year.
Yeah. So
yeah,
good deal for the Diamondbacks, especially when they dealed out a bunch of money for Zach Greinke.
Yeah. What is let's see if I can find it.
I think Miller's was like $448. It was around there. So
yeah, and I mean, it's not like he hasn't lost anything. I mean, his fastball velocity is slowly declining. Last year was at its lowest since he came into the league, at averaging at like 91.5 miles an hour. But I mean, it's not like he throws soft or anything. So
no. And being a reliever, you can get away with lower velocity just because you only pitch 1 inning compared to a starter that has to go 5 or 6 every other 5th day.
Yeah, but with a reliever, you kind of prefer that guy who throws more heat because it just throws hitters' timing off. Because normally by that time in the game, that the starter's going to be throwing 91, 90. He isn't going to be up like mid-90s, which is like the average, I would say, for a lot of guys. And then you come out with you go from 90 to like maybe like a 98, 97. It just throws the timing off, and that's a big thing you want to get with a reliever. But yeah, Clippard's not a bad pitcher at all.
He has enough skill pitches to work around a lower velocity, I feel.
Yeah. All right, next piece of news. More pitching news. We had a lot of pitching news, actually. We got one more after this, and then some Fangraph stuff. But Sweaty Freddy Garcia has retired.
It's a
Sad day for baseball.
sad day. Yeah.
He's in the Bartolo Colon uh, Hall of Fame. Just a unathletic junk baller who, for some reason, would pull good performances out of his ass every once in a while.
I still can't believe there's always that one player that goes to all the different teams, and I feel like the Orioles never bring them on for that exact reason. But they brought on Freddie Garcia in 2013, which
and Kelly Johnson.
And Kelly, yeah, they finally brought on journeyman Kelly Johnson. So
But I remember when he almost had that no-hitter against the Angels.
Oh, Garcia, yeah, he had some really outstanding performances, and then he had some really horrible. He never had a middle ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of what you get when he's a junk baller. When you just throw junk, when you're a junk baller, you're basically forcing. Well, I don't know how to word this, but it's a different style of pitching that is it's pretty much like a knuckleballer. It's all or nothing.
You basically rely on all your off-speed stuff because your velocity is horrible.
Yeah, and I think that kind of speaks a lot to how good he was as a pitcher, because early on in his career he was he threw heat, and then I think he had shoulder surgery, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the big thing when he was with the Mariners. He was he threw a lot of heat. He was like high 90s fastball. He was one of those guys, and then once his shoulder gave out, he had to start throwing, work around not having that velocity anymore, and being able to trick hitters, throw people's timings off. So I mean,
it's a certain skill set that you acquire once you become a veteran of the league and have had your due throughout just facing all the different people you face throughout the years.
Yeah, not a lot of people can do that, so I think that's kind of a testament to how good he was, how good he was in that sense. Because he wasn't a great pitcher, but I mean, it takes a lot of skill in order to make that transition.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's what it is. I'm not exactly gonna miss watching him pitch, because it wasn't exciting to watch him pitch, but it's kind of sad to see him retire, because he was just, I mean, the memes is what basically he lived for at this point.
Yeah, he just walk out first inning, 2 pitches in, he's just drenching in sweat. And I never understood why. I mean, it would be like a night where it's 70, 80 degrees.
It'd be like late September, and it's like, why are you sweating?
It's like, dude, you've thrown 5 pitches. Calm down.
Our last piece of pitching news we have is this broke today. How do you say it? Henry
Mejia.
Okay. Henry Mejia is the first MLB player to be have a lifetime ban for the under the new steroid policy. He was He was originally handed an 80-game suspension in April of last year, and then 3 weeks into his return in July, he was suspended a full year, 162 games, for testing positive for Stanzolol and Bolden one. That's what I think it is. And then and while he was suspended, he tested positive again, and now he gets the lifetime suspension.
I don't even know how to describe this, just because you did it to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he's 26 too. I mean, and he was the closer for the Mets. He won the closing job. So it's not like he was just some no-name bench warmer. He was actually, kind of decent. And then I don't know how you do this.
It was just funny because the beginning of the year, he was warming up. It's the opening series. It was opening day. It was at Nats Park, and he was warming up, and they just yanked him for some reason. And everyone's like, "Is Mejia okay?" So they just threw in Juris Familia, and then he became the closer from there. And everyone's like, "Oh, well, Mejia had injury." Then a couple days later, "Oh, well, he's suspended." Then he comes back. He pitched in 7 games in 2015. Didn't let up anything really, and then got hit with it again, and then he's gone now forever.
Yeah, he was gonna be. I think he was gonna be a back end of the bullpen type guy, and it's just crazy how that.
He
I don't.
he really could have helped in their playoff run. I
Yeah,
feel.
exactly. Like, I don't know. It's just, I hate it when like a guy with that much talent just wastes it, and it irks me, especially in baseball because it's a lot more. I don't know how to put this, but if you compare like I believe baseball is the harder sport to play out of all the sports. I mean, I think it's the most technical because it's the one sport that has the most repetition, and it irks me the most when baseball players, waste when they have that talent because they're probably some of the most skilled athletes in America. Like in that sense, like I think they're like a cut above a lot of football players. So I mean,
Just through athletic ability and skills.
yeah, it's just it kind of pisses me off, and I'm not a fan of it. To be honest, I don't think too many people are because people don't fucking like it when people don't like it when they take steroids in general. So it's I don't know. I'm rambling. I know it's bad. It's late. Well, not really late, but I just got off work, so it's my mind is everywhere at the moment. But
Another thing with Mejia, he was like touted to be the top prospect or the untouchable. Like you can't trade for this guy. Person in the Mets organization. He was coming up as a starter, I think.
really,
Yeah, he came up as a starter in 2012. He started 3 games. In 2013, he started 5. 2014, he started 7. I think he did. Yeah, he came up as a starter through like the rookie league, lower A, high A, double. But he was a starter, but then he came up and he just pitched out of the bullpen more. I
I
think.
think that is with most bullpen guys is they come up as a starter and fail and just get moved to the bullpen.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting part about this is that when you have a lifetime ban given out by the MLB, the affiliated leagues in other countries honor it. So like Japan, which is the Nippon League, South Korea is the KBO, and like Mexico, the Mexican League, they all honor that and they won't let them play in their leagues, which I found interesting. And apparently the only leagues that will let them play are the winter leagues, such as the one in Dominican Republic, and independent leagues don't necessarily have to honor it. So
He played for the Sugarland Skeeters with Rafael Palmeiro.
yeah. What team is Julio Franco on right now? Go to that team.
Uh, Here I can look it up.
So, jeez. 60-year-old Julio Franco. I think he retired, if I'm not mistaken.
He's 57, so he's played in Japan.
Okay. So,
Good for him.
go play with Julio Franco. Oh,
Well,
wait, you can't.
He can. He's in Japan. Go play with Robert Andino actually signed with the team this year.
Oh, who'd he sign with?
The Marlins, I think. Yeah.
Oh, well, Connor, you gotta go find which minor league team he's on and go to that game.
I feel like they're all like down south. I can't find any of them.
You don't want to go down south anyway. It's a
Yeah.
terrible place.
Oh, I know. I've had enough family live down in the south to know it's terrible.
Oh. Alrighty, moving on. Fangraphs released their win-loss projections for next season, and I'm gonna read some of these off. Let's start with the Orioles, just because it's the Orioles. The Orioles are projected to win 78 games and lose 84 games with a run differential of -27. They are projected to finish last in the AL East.
Sounds about right.
You have no faith in this team, do you, Connor?
No. I say that with the utmost confidence of being an Orioles fan.
Oh, God. Great stuff. The Red Sox are projected to win the division with 91 and 71.
For like the 15th year in a row.
Yeah, it seems like they're projected to win the division every year, and they don't. So it's like, why? I mean, it's just, why? They're not a safe bet. I don't know why you think they're a safe bet. They always look. I mean, they signed Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez last year, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're gonna win the division." Oh, no, they didn't. Who ended up winning the division? Was it the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Okay, and the
Blue
Yankees
Jay.
got the wild card.
Yeah, and then we were third, Rays 4, Red Sox 5.
Right. But yeah, I don't understand that. But I think the funniest part about all this is the projections is that the Indians, they're saying that AL Central gets won on 84 games. The Indians winning 84 games and 78 losses, with the Tigers and White Sox behind them at 81 apiece.
That's just all kinds of messed up to me.
Yeah, I don't.
Cause the Royals didn't lose anybody significant to me.
Yeah, they're slated to finish fourth at 79 and 83.
To where they're gonna have like a 20-something differential in wins. No. I still have the Royals winning it, and I have the Tigers as a wild card. Honestly, acquiring Justin Upton, Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, I definitely think the Tigers make the playoffs.
Their window's closing, so I feel like this is their last couple years with like Cabrera at full capacity. JD Martinez is coming into his own. Before you can trade these guys away for more prospects to just ramp up your system, like they acquired Daniel Norris from Toronto last year, and who I'm big on him. So I feel like a full year with him will help them get to the playoffs this year.
Right. Let's see. Another one. Ooh, Cardinals slated to finish third in the NL Central with 84 wins and 78 losses. I think that comes true.
I can see that. I see the Pirates actually winning that division this year.
Really? I think it's definitely going to be the Pirates and Cubs. That's going to be a tough division this year.
It always is, just because the Cardinals and the Pirates have been good the last couple of years. But I'm big on the Pirates. I love their outfield. I didn't like that they traded away Neil Walker, though, just for Jonathan Neese. I mean, they need pitching, but John Neese isn't the answer, really.
John Neese is never the answer.
No, that's why he wasn't even in the Mets rotation.
All right. I think two more other significant things is the largest run differentials. Negative wise, they have the Phillies at negative 134. I think Bill Bear just cried a little bit.
I mean, it's basically what the Phillies have been the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's not going to be surprising because I feel like they're on full-on tank mode. Because, I mean, Utley's not there. The only player that I like out of who's left is Mikhail Franco, the third baseman. So,
I'm big on Adrubal Herrera, their center fielder. He was the Role 5 guy for them last year, and he did really well, surprisingly. I think he was a Rookie of the Year finalist. He didn't win, obviously, because of Chris Bryant.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of the Cubs roster, but he played decent center field. I think he was their all-star representative, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? Not Franco?
Can't remember off the top of my head. I can look it up for you, but you can keep talking about the sadness that is the Phillies.
It's just I can't really. I mean, I can't talk about it too much, or I get depressed myself. But the biggest one is the Cubs with a positive 121, which I'm not sure if I agree with. I could actually see the Blue Jays topping that because of just how potent their offense is. They're only slated with a run differential of 25, positive 25, which
the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
they do realize that they get Troy Tulowitzki a full year, right?
Yeah, and they actually have a dirt infield.
Yeah, they're might actually be healthy. And the lone Philly All-Star from 2015 was Jonathan Papelbon.
And he got traded.
So hope nobody bought a Jonathan Papelbon All-Star T-shirt.
Who would? All right, well, that about wraps it up for the... You want to add anything on these projections?
They're bad.
I don't know what they use to project them.
They use something. Oh, I have no idea.
I don't think it's Streamer, because Streamer's for players.
Yeah, unless they like compile it all together to be like, this is how the team would do with all these projections of their players. Because if that's the case, that's just weird to me. I don't know.
Oh, one more interesting thing with the Orioles. They are projected to have the third most runs against a game at 4.67, right below the Brewers and Rockies.
If I was to just look at rotations, I would say the same thing. But
the Tigers are below them, right below them.
Huh. Well, they don't have the Tigers doing that well either. So
Right.
with the Orioles pitching, it all comes down to the bullpen, and that's going to be the only time that teams aren't going to score runs. So
Right.
they're just going to get them all out in the first 5 innings when the starters get pulled in the fourth.
With the Orioles this year, we're gonna segue into the Orioles since we're gonna talk about a little bit of Oriole news right now. I think the biggest thing with the Orioles this year, it's gonna be more of the same. It's gonna be, can the Orioles score more runs in 9 innings than the other team can in 6?
Yeah, which is basically what they did in 2014 and what they tried to do in 2015, but the starting pitching was just way too terrible.
Right. So I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of starting pitching, the Orioles are supposedly making progress on Yovani Gallardo. I closed his tab, but
Please stop my excitement.
I don't think he's the answer.
Well, it depends on the question.
Who not to sign this offseason? Yovani Gallardo.
Who is basically an overrated pitcher who's losing velocity really quickly? Yovani Gallardo.
Fun fact: Gallardo is actually is actually the name for like a Lamborghini, I think.
If he signs this deal with the Orioles, he'd be able to buy one.
I think not any major league player, but yeah, if he signs this deal, he could probably buy his own Lamborghini.
If
Gallardo and a Gallardo.
If I see Jason Garcia roll up in a Lamborghini next year, I'm calling bullshit. I saw him roll out of there in like a Honda Civic last year. He rolls out in that, and you see Darren O'Day with his like white Corvette, and then I think Jones has some big SUV. I don't even know. They all drive like black SUVs.
Big black Cadillac.
Yeah,
that's what I imagine Jones has.
Davis has like a huge redneck truck. I mean, half of them do. So.
Well, I mean, because a bunch of them is just like country strength, or they come from the South, and the only thing to do with it down there is play sports.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but just I don't think Gallardo is the answer at all. I mean, they need to do something about the pitching staff. They need to add something, but I think that time has long gone where you could get, because Scott Kazmir was out there, a bunch of other guys were out there. You could have made a play on Doug Fister. I would have taken Doug Fister over Yovani Gallardo, especially
on like a 1 or even 2 year deal.
Yeah, well, Doug Fister got like a 2-year deal for like $5 million, something. He was dirt cheap.
For Houston.
Yeah, and he's a ground ball pitcher.
So
That's something the Orioles haven't had in like I don't know how long.
Well, Gallardo's like tried to become a ground ball pitcher just because he can't strike anybody out anymore. So that might play a little bit because you still have Machado, Hardy.
Yeah, his ground ball percentage has gone up over the past couple of years.
So I mean, that's a benefit of it, but it's still not the move you should have made. I feel like if you're going to get a pitcher and you're going to spend big money on them, just go big or go home on Jordan Zimmerman. Or, like, do this crazy thing and give an opt-out to Scott Kazmir, an actual left-handed pitcher.
That's also what I think is hurting the Orioles, because the MLB is moving towards this thing with opt-outs where players want opt-outs. And, it's... I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about opt-outs, but Dan Duquette just doesn't like them. He doesn't want to give out opt-outs. And as an organizational policy, I'm not sure if I agree with it, but then again, there's a reason, I'm not a general manager.
There's a lot of things Dan Duquette does that I don't agree with.
Says every Orioles fan ever. But I really think they're also looking at Jay Bruce and Dexter Fowler. I really think they've waited way too long to flip the switch to win now, because there were a bunch of better players out on the market, like Yoenis Cespedes. I can't even a Ben Zobrist wouldn't have been bad either, even though I think he got way overpaid. But they waited too long. They tried to take this conservative approach in the beginning, and it failed. And I think right now they're panicking.
Yeah. They realized, oh shit, we have a terrible team. What can we do?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a terrible team, but I don't think it's necessarily a playoff team.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Oh shit, we have a moderately bad team. And there's a couple guys left, but they're going to cost us our 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
the thing is, if you
which
get
I don't care about it anymore. The Orioles don't draft well. They don't develop well. They need to revamp that entire system before they can even think about drafting anybody good.
True. That is a point, but if they give up a first round draft pick for Gallardo, I think you have to just say fuck it and get Dexter Fowler as well, because if you give up one, it's a lot easier to give up the other. We saw that 1 year with Nelson Cruz and Ubaldo. That's the one good thing I think is going to come out of this year is that Ubaldo's contract is finally off the books. But
is it, or does he have 2 more years?
I think this is his last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I could have remembered that he was the 4-year deal and Cruz was the 1-year deal when I wanted them switched.
It's a 4-year deal. When is he a free agent? Nope, year after next. My bad. He's a free agent in 2018.
Well,
or no, wait. If he's a free agent in 2018, doesn't that mean he's a free agent after this year? No,
because this year's 2016.
Yeah, all right. I got my dates mixed up. All right, yeah, he's year after next. He's off the books, but yeah, Dexter Fowler. You like him. I'm not necessarily big on him because I find him kind of meh. I mean, he's a career 267 hitter.
I like him because he has speed. He plays good defense, and he's better than Nolan Reimold.
Well, I mean, a cardboard cutout of Rafael Palmeiro is better than Nolan Reimold at this point, or Rafael Palmeiro if you want to get that technical.
Yeah.
The OPS he had an OPS of 757 last year, but the career OPS of 781 is interesting because that's pushing 800, which is what I like to see. But he's like a high, like a 370 to 400 OBP type guy. And a kind of your prototypical leadoff hitter because he makes contact and steals bases, has speed.
Yeah, he would definitely take over the leadoff role right away, and that's what I need because Manny Machado can't be the leadoff hitter anymore. He produces way too much to have him be in the number 1 spot and not drive in runs.
Right. I'd much more like to see him at least in the number 2 role next year.
The way I have, if I was to construct a lineup, it would be, say they signed Dexter Fowler, it'd be Fowler, oh my god, I can't believe, who's my number 2? Kim. It'd be Fowler, Kim, Machado, Davis, Jones, or even I put Jones number 2. So, and then Scope, Wieters, Hardy, and, Trumbo and then Hardy.
Yeah.
However you'd fill out the bottom of the order.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're looking at the statistical model, I think what the statisticians, like the sabermetric guys, say is that you put your best hitter in the number 2 spot, supposedly, and then you put all the power hitters behind them. But yeah, it definitely something like that. I don't know about I have to see how Kim performs at first because we don't even know for a fact if he's going to be on the major league roster, which I think he is. But that transition, it's a big transition over, and you don't know what's going to happen. But it's definitely going to be interesting how that plays out. And I definitely, if we get Dexter Fowler, it solidifies that leadoff position. You got that everyday leadoff guy.
And with Dexter Fowler, even if Kim doesn't work out, you can just stick Reimold in left field.
True.
You
or you can stick the Rule 5 guy at this point. I mean, hell.
Oh, yeah, Joey Rickard.
Who I'm actually kind of excited for because he, had some decent stats at AAA, so maybe he is actually Major League ready, and he's not Jason Garcia, or was it Michael Almanzar?
Yeah, Almanzar. They just hit him on the DL for the whole year. Then he went back to Boston, and then they traded for him when they traded for Kelly Johnson.
Yeah, which
now he's just stuck in AAA.
Yeah, go figure. But Jay Bruce is another interesting name. I don't like Jay Bruce, but supposedly the Orioles have the players to make that deal, the prospects to get him, because Jay Bruce hardly ever hits over 250. He's a career 248 hitter. I mean, he had 09, he hit 223, 2010, 281, 2011, 256, 2012, 256, 2013, 262, 2014, 217, 2015, 226, and he hits like 20 to 30 home runs a year.
Nothing stands out to me about Jay Bruce.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Nothing stands out about him.
Would he do better in Camden Yards? Maybe.
Probably, yeah.
For being a 12th overall pick in the 05 draft, he should be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think his biggest thing is his slugging, because, I mean, in 2012 he had a slugging at 500 with a 250 average, which is kind of crazy. But he had 4 straight years of an OPS over 800, which is good. But I think his slugging probably benefited from the fact that isn't the Great American Ballpark, isn't that a pitcher's park?
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Yeah, so you have bigger gaps, and you definitely benefit from that. But Camden's kind of smaller, and their gaps aren't as big. So
I'm looking over his career stats. He was horrible in 2014.
Yeah, he was not great at all.
He was a negative .9 player. He's only projected to be worth .7 WAR in 2016 with a 235 average, 432 slugging, and 24 homers. But that's with the Reds, not with the Orioles.
It's so weird. I mean, he might benefit from a change of scenery, and he's a power hitter, so his stats are definitely going to go up a little bit by being in Camden Yards. But I mean, if you don't get Fowler and Gallardo, you don't want to give up those picks. I would be fine with a Jay Bruce because we need another outfielder. So
honestly, if you're going to go outfielder, get a guy that can actually hit for average, sort of a little bit better than Bruce, and that's Dexter Fowler, because the Orioles have enough power hitters at this point.
Well, I'm saying if you don't go after Fowler and Gallardo.
Oh well, yeah, that makes.
Yeah, I would go after Bruce. I mean, I feel like he should be the backup plan at this point, but I mean, if you get him and Fowler, I'm not sure what you do with that outfield, because then do you just swap Bruce and Trumbo out? I don't know. I think it's one or the other at this point. It's Gallardo and Fowler or Jay Bruce. I think that's probably what the Orioles are trying to set themselves up for.
Yeah, honestly, they already played the get rid of all your draft pick thing, so they might as well just do it again.
See, I'm not so sure about that, because they need prospects. It's just I understand what you said about the fact that they don't they need to revamp the system because they don't produce anybody, but I don't think just giving up guys in that early, because they're at number 14. I don't think just giving up like that is how you build a good system either. I think you need a balance of both of those.
It's definitely hard to say, just because you want to build through the draft, and the way the Orioles develop their talent, it just doesn't seem to work out that way when you wanted to so badly with guys like Bundy, Harvey. Machado was the light at the end of the tunnel. He was just
I think he's such a gifted athlete in general.
Yeah, it's the Orioles couldn't even have possibly screwed him up.
Yeah, there's not too many people that could have screwed him up.
So, it's really hard to say. I say just get rid of the draft picks, get the couple guys, go for it these next 2 years, and then start to sell the team when you don't make the playoffs. I mean,
right.
When Jones' contract is up almost, Machado's almost done. Maybe Gausman, see what you can get for him if he's anything. If he performs these next couple of years, that is.
Yeah, that's a big if. That's the big if this year. That was the big if last year. Does Gausman perform? And he didn't last year, and he probably won't this year. I'm just saying.
I hope he does, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, because he hasn't taken that step. He didn't take the step last year. He got a little bit better last year. I will give him that, but I just don't. He hasn't taken the step. But we'll see what he's been doing this offseason. He's supposedly been working on developing another pitch for the 3rd year in a row. So we'll see with that. Moving on to some more not player related stuff about the Orioles. They released their promotional schedule for this year for stuff they are giving away at the gate. What stands out to you, Connor?
the Manny Machado gnome. The
Didn't they do that last year?
they did Buck Showalter gnome.
Oh, yeah.
The batting practice pullover jacket, and what was the other one? I think it was. Well, there's 2 bobbleheads this year, so.
When's the first one? Because I know that they do the fans' choice at the end of the year.
There's the August one, and then there's the one in September. That's the fans' choice.
Okay.
I can look it up real quick, just to see, because I breezed over it and didn't really look. Oh, they're giving away a 1966 replica jersey, which can be pretty cool.
Oh, 1966. So
I think it's because it's the 50th anniversary of the World Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. The 66 World Series. Yeah.
Other than that, just the usual. I like that they're doing the kids run the bases every Sunday game now.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. They're actually doing a seniors run the bases this year too.
They are?
Yeah, it's in March. March.
Oh,
7th.
that's the spring training one then.
Oh, is it spring? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they did that last year too, I think.
Gotcha. I didn't see the spring training one. My bad. I didn't see that it was separated.
Yeah, they just throw it in there for some reason. So.
Yeah, it throws me off. I'm a fan of the spatula. I want that spatula. The Orioles spatula.
I don't barbecue, so I wouldn't need one.
Well, I don't either. I would hang that up. Are you kidding me? I want the spatula that Wayne Kirby uses.
Yeah. They should just have his face. It should be the Wayne Kirby's spatula, if anything.
Just his face, on a spatula.
Like if you're cooking a hamburger, you can just push it in and you get Wayne Kirby's face. And it should have a button that plays the song.
What's cooking with Kirby? I downloaded that. I had to record. I had to use a shitty plugin for Chrome to record the video, and then I had to pull the audio from it and make it turn into an MP3 file so I could use it. It's great.
Nice.
I love it. It was my ringtone for the longest time.
There's also the hooded sweatshirt in late September and the Maryland flag Orioles cap. Of course, everyone in this state is obsessed with the flag, so that'll be a big one.
I don't know what it's gonna be because they already do an Oriole Maryland flag cap. I don't know if this one's gonna be any different or if it's a special one.
Well, they did the Maryland flag floppy hat. That was the thing.
Well, no, they actually have an actual cap where the front panel is the Maryland flag.
Oh, the one they actually sell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I have that. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I might.
I don't know if this one's gonna be different, so we'll see about that. I'm the high socks too.
Oh, they're doing high socks again.
Yeah, early September 16th.
September 16th, Orioles high socks. Okay, I wasn't a fan of them this year. This past year, they were just like a off orange with the O's, and they were super small for my feet, so I didn't like them that much. They work well for some people, but you can do better with socks, honestly.
Yeah, it's more of a novelty than anything. Like it is with most of this stuff. You're not necessarily gonna wear it on a daily basis.
If you do, good on you, because you look like a dork.
They're doing a jumbo baseball card.
That is kind of cool, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know where I'd put it. I just bought the big Chris Davis fathead face.
Did you actually put it on your wall, or are you gonna take it to games?
I'm gonna take it to games.
Oh, okay.
So if you see a guy with a big Chris Davis face, just go up to him and say his podcast is terrible. So, when is the big card giveaway?
Is
July 10th against the Angels. Is it going to be of a player or just
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I don't think they're going to do anything set in stone until they're probably going to wait until the roster's finalized before they make any personalized stuff.
Yeah. You can throw out the Manny Machado thing.
Yeah, or if anything's Jones, Davis, or Manny.
They don't have anything for Davis, which is surprising with how much they paid him.
They don't have anything for Jones either.
I was expecting Chris Davis, tennis shoes, Chris Davis, another Chris Davis action figure because they were quick on that after 2013.
Yeah.
Like Chris Davis water bottles, just like his face on everything.
They
And
also could have made this schedule before they signed him. Like, this was something like it was
maybe,
finalized before then, and they just now released it, and they haven't touched
maybe.
it.
I mean, but you have even before that, you have Jones, you have Zach Britton. You can do like a Kevin Gosman like glasses day or something.
I would. Well, he doesn't have the glasses anymore. He got LASIK.
Loser. Kevin Gosman LASIK day. You get like 25% off LASIK surgery or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The Caps actually do like a promotion where you can win free LASIK surgery, and it's like, what do you do if you don't need it? You just sell it.
Give it away because you're a nice person?
It's like for sale on eBay. Free LASIK surgery that I wanted.
Capitalism, man.
Exactly. No, but like the way like the Nationals do their promotions, they promote their players a lot. Like they had a Wilson Ramos bobblehead. I don't know a single person in the world that loves Wilson Ramos enough to get a bobblehead of him, but it sells. You know, they have like 10 bobbleheads a year. They have like 3 Jason Worth Chia pets a year. It seems like because they're doing the Bryce Harper hair flip Chia pet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, and since the Orioles aren't big on like facial hair or like growing out anything weird, they don't have anything like that. So
Can't do a Adam Jones pencil mustache.
for like a Chia pet, it wouldn't even be worth it. It would just be
do like the fake mustache thing and just have it be Jones's. Like, I don't know.
I still say Gosman screwed up by getting LASIK because there's so much you could do with that. But I feel like I know it's for his
probably
personal,
the best for his career.
for his personal benefit, whatever. You don't see Rick the Wild Thing Vaughn getting LASIK surgery.
Wild thing, you make my heart sing. Sorry, I had to do that.
I still don't like that the floppy hat's 21 and over, just because it's sponsored by a beer.
Oh,
Who the hell?
Bullshit.
Who cares? Honestly.
Bullshit. No, that's not nah.
Also, I don't like that one of the fireworks is presented by Baltimore area credit unions. No, sponsored by mine. I work at one. Damn it.
I find it kind of weird that April is like light on the giveaways. Like the giveaways don't start until really like May. Was it like that last year?
It's always kind of been like that. You know, they give away like they do like the student night every Friday. They do like a T-shirt maybe in April, but they don't really do that much. Just because it's like the season started.
Right.
But like everything really sets in like June and July when there's more home games available to do stuff. Like you can have the fireworks, and you know you got all the dugout club games and stuff, just like everything like that.
Right. All right. Well, talking about games and going to games, the Orioles have increased their ticket prices. I know a lot of people aren't happy with that.
Well, listen here, folks. When you pay a lot of money to like 3 people, that's gonna happen. I don't care, honestly. The Orioles are still one of the more reasonably priced sports teams in America.
Right. By what Eddie Encina is saying on the Sun, by his Sun article, it says season ticket holders will see an average price increase of $5 a game, with the increase ranging from $3 to $10 per ticket based on the plan and selected games. Single ticket games will go up an average of 4 to 5 per ticket. The increase ranges from 3 to 7. Go up to that doesn't make sense. It says the single game tickets will go up an average of $4 to $5 per ticket. The increase ranges from $3 to $7 per ticket.
Journalism.
I love you, Eddie, but what does that mean? The date for when single game tickets will go into is updated. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, like the Orioles' average ticket price was like the lowest, one of the lowest out of all 4 sports.
It was, and it still is. So
yeah, it's still somewhere near the bottom. So I mean, they've been good to their fans in that regard.
Yeah, honestly, you can't complain. The
Yeah,
stadium's easy to get to. It's relatively cheap to go.
There's not a bad seat in the house.
You can bring your own food. You don't need to buy what's there.
Yeah, you can bring your own food and drinks. They just have to be sealed and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good experience, and honestly, you're not really paying that much because tickets, like, even in, like, the upper deck left field, they were, like, what? Not even, like, $12 last
like
season?
$8-9.
Yeah, $8-9, and they're going up to, what, maybe, like, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's not too bad. I mean, it's still, like, $30 to get in for you and a friend, and, like, you're going to probably be spending that on food anyway, so, I mean.
Exactly.
So.
It's way better than, like, the Nationals because they're relatively way overpriced.
Right.
The like out of just the teams in the area, the Capitals are. It depends on how good they're doing. Like if you're just buying tickets on like StubHub, if they're doing okay, the tickets are cheaper. If they're doing really well, like this year, the tickets are outrageous. The Wizards are always relatively cheap. They have good deal. They're like, I'm just talking like StubHub. I don't know what like their actual prices are through like the team, just simply because it's way too expensive for me. Um, Wizards are cheap. Redskins, it depends on how good they're doing, like the other teams.
Yeah, Dan Snyder's a fucking asshole anyway, so.
Yeah.
I mean, he charges you full price for obstructive view seating, so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And then you got the Ravens who are ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah, I've been to a couple games for them, and it's like the only games I went to the home opener against the Bengals the year of the Super Bowl, and I went to a playoff game against the Texans. It was like $400 for me and my sister against the Texans, and this was keep in mind this was like 3-4 years ago. So
Yeah, it's just not worth it to me, honestly. Like, you can sit at home, be warm, and then you don't miss anything.
I mean, that's the argument for not going to any game though.
Well, for baseball, it's kind of hard because it's already warm. There's not that much to follow, and it's
Right.
not as like crazy.
Right.
Honestly, like the two most fun sports to go watch live are hockey and basketball.
See, I haven't been to a basketball game. I went to my community college one. You know, laugh at me if you will, but I actually didn't find it that entertaining. I actually find watching the women's team better than watching the men's team.
I've never watched women's basketball.
I feel like it's one of those
not
things.
not like live. I watched it on TV and stuff, but
I feel like to me, it's a good sport to watch live because it's a lot slower paced and it's easier to follow, kind of like baseball in that regard. But with the men's team, it was just like a testosterone fest, and you know that's kind of weird to say considering me being a man, but it's just like I don't know. It was a little bit too fast paced, and it was just like. I don't know how to describe it, but it just wasn't entertaining. Watching the women's team was much more entertaining.
honestly, I think that's just because it's a bunch of college kids. If you went to like a Wizards game or a Maryland game, it'd probably be a little bit different, just because you have probably a bigger crowd that gets into it too.
You're probably right on that.
But honestly, hockey is the most fun sport to watch live. It's pretty awesome. Every like hockey game I've been to has like had a fight, or like I've been to like 2 games with shootouts. It's
hockey moves at the right pace. It's not too fast, and it's not like with baseball. It's in a kind of its own category because it moves like really slow. So it's like you get the enjoyment out of the little spurts that happen and the stuff in between. Like you can, it's a lot easier to follow. But hockey moves at the right pace. It's not like slow like football where it can't decide whether it wants to be normal speed or really slow like baseball. Hockey just kind of moves at an even pace. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, my friend put it really well. We were watching the Super Bowl, and he goes, "At least baseball is consistently boring. Football just stops, and it's like stop go, stop go."
Yeah.
And I took him to an Orioles game, and he likes going to baseball games. He just can't watch it on TV.
I can see that. It's a little bit more. Baseball's better for the technical perspective because you get to see the strike zone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I feel like I might be in. I like soccer for that reason because I mean it's the main reason I like watching soccer is because especially on TV is because there's like no commercial breaks. You have a halftime and that's it. It's consistent action.
Yeah,
Like
I do like that. I like that about soccer on TV. I've been to, I think, to like 2 soccer games. I went to like one of like international ones they had in Baltimore, and it was pretty fun. Just like that, like it's a whole thing about the atmosphere.
Right.
And soccer on TV is interesting. Like I only watch like the World Cup, and if like I'm just browsing the U.S. men's team is playing, and I'll just like, oh hey, I'll watch. Or if like some MLS game is on, there's nothing on, I'll be like, all right, I'll watch it.
Right.
But I don't go out of my way to watch soccer.
I feel you on that. I mean, soccer is not really a great American sport.
No. It's not like, oh wow, golf's on. I don't get people who can watch golf on TV.
I can watch golf.
I
can
can't.
watch golf. I can get a kick out of golf, especially during the All-Star break when there's like no sports on whatsoever, because it's golf is like the only thing that they'll show. I can sit down and like I'll go out to eat in a restaurant and they'll have that on. I can sit there and watch that.
If I'm at a restaurant, I'll watch like tennis and golf. But if I'm at home just scrolling through the
Yeah, I
channels,
won't go out of my way to watch it.
I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, there's a tennis match between 2 people that rank like 300 in the world. Let me watch this. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with golf and tennis, it's like it's a thing of if it's on at like a restaurant, I'll watch it, but not watch it at home. Like the people that live tweet like golf tournaments, I just like it's coming from a baseball fan. Like golf is extremely boring. And I get the argument that baseball is boring. I've been to a lot of boring Orioles games to where it's just like it's 2-1, but it's not like a good pitcher's duel. It's like the ugly one where like the offense is just bad and that's why. So I get like the argument that baseball can be boring, but golf is just extremely boring. I've fallen asleep watching golf. I've fallen asleep watching football, golf, and tennis.
I can't remember which comedian said it, but he was like, you can't really. He's like, you can't argue the fact that baseball isn't boring because one of the best things that can happen in baseball is a no hitter, and that's where nothing happens for half the game.
Yes.
So, I mean, you got a point there, but yeah, it has to do a lot with atmosphere and stuff like that, and commercial breaks, I think, play a big part in all that jazz. Watching it as well, especially mainly at home.
And that's why I've kind of moved away from football. Too many commercials. The game is start and stop. It's score,
everything. It's score,
every
commercial, extra point commercial, kickoff commercial, like,
and then every play is penalized for some dumb reason. So it's not even because it all gets taken back, and then they got a punt, and it's just boring to me now.
Yeah, it's.
This ties into my story that I have in a little bit.
Oh
so.
Yes, we can move on to that. I was looking for a good segue to that. Story time with Connor. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. And this is what we're going to end the show with, and then, the regular stuff, we plug ourselves at the end. But the floor is yours, Connor.
Okay, so it was back in, like, late November. I don't remember the exact day, but back in, like, late November, I convinced myself, hey, I want to go to a football game. So I went, and this was during the time when I tried to convince myself I was a New York Giants fan when I really wasn't. If you want to know why, message me and I'll tell you everything. But
there's a girl involved.
Shut up. So basically, I go out like the Saturday before. I go to like Arundel Mills Mall. I'm like, hey, I'll buy a Giants shirt, and basically wasted $40 on tickets. I went by myself. So I went to a Giants-Redskins game at FedEx Field. My friend, I met him through Twitter. His name is JR. He's a good guy. He runs like this huge Redskins tailgate. And he's like, yeah, you can come on down. We don't really harass like visiting fans that much unless you're like a Cowboys fan or Eagles fan. We don't really care about Giants fans. So I was like, all right, I'll just hang out for a little bit. I didn't have a ticket at this point. So I was just like, is this all I'm going to do? I paid $30 for parking. $40 for my ticket, so I'm thinking I might as well go to the game because if I'm gonna pay $30 to park, I'll just go inside and watch it. I don't want to stay out and watch it in like the tailgate lot when it's like right there. So I go in. FedEx Field is really, really ugly. It's like it was built after Camden Yards, but it looks like it was built in the 60s.
Yeah, it definitely has that rustic feel to it.
It's just like the color scheme is terrible.
Let's be honest. White, red and like yellow is not a good color scheme, just in general.
No, it's not. But anyway, I'm like walking through. They were handing out these like rally towels, and it said like for some like charity. I was like, whatever, I'll take one. And I like make my way. I'm watching the players warm up or whatever, and I'm looking around. There's like a good amount of Giants fans, so I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm probably not alone. When I go to my seat, I go to my seat to find out there's like I picked a seat in the upper deck. I picked the cheapest seat available, just because it was right at the game time. I didn't have a seat. It was a standing room only in the upper deck, and this just proves that Dan Snyder is evil and will try to sell things to anybody.
Remember, folks, obstructed view seats at full price.
Exactly. So I'm standing there. It's like a metal, like just rails, and it's raining, so it's kind of cold. It was like 40 and raining, so it just made everything colder, just because everything was wet. So I didn't want to put my hands on anything because I didn't have gloves. I just had like a jacket and a hat. So I'm standing there. I'm all by myself. Nobody's really in the stadium yet. By the time the game is about to start, I see a couple of Giants fans come up and they're like high-fiving me or whatever. I was like, whatever, I don't care. And then I was like, okay, maybe I won't get beat up today. So and then a bunch of Redskins fans start piling in after the kickoff because naturally they're trying to stumble in from the parking lot, I assume. And as the game's going on, this game was horrible if you were a diehard Giants fan and you actually went to that game because like one of the first plays, Eli Manning fumbled the snap, and then he had like 3 turnovers in the first quarter or something. It was just an ugly game to watch. There's no entertainment value to it whatsoever for me. So basically, time's going on, and like the guy behind me was like super drunk, and like it was like me and like 4 like guys that were friends. They were all Giants fans. We were right next to each other, just like out of sheer however, and it was like the rest of the section was just Redskins fans. So he was just, every time the Redskins did something good, he would be like, Giants fans are a bunch of, and he'd just throw in a bunch of, he'd throw in the F word, but not the F word you automatically think of. I'm not going to say it just because I don't want to say it. So,
Fudgepacker?
Yeah, we'll go with that. So he's like yelled that like after every like Redskins first down or like Giants like turn or like everything. He's like, fuck the Giants, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, please shut up. And I just wanted to turn around and go, please stop talking. You are a disgrace to human life. So
he's the type of fan where even if you're not a fan of the Giants, you will root for them just to shut him the fuck up.
Yes. And so like he was constantly yelling that, and like this guy like showed up like in the second, like there was a start of second quarter. This guy like stumbles up the stairs, like stands right next to me. Like you can just smell straight up like everything that this guy drank. So I'm just thinking, he starts talking. He's like, you're a Giants fan? I go, I guess. And he's like, man, this game sucks for you. Eli is such a bumbling moron. Blah. I'm thinking, oh my God, please stop talking. Go away. And he's like, I've lost my friends. I'm drunk as shit. Blah. I'm thinking, wow, really? I had no idea, sir. Good for you.
Wow, really? No idea.
And then, like, he eventually stumbles away. I'm pretty sure he probably, like, fell asleep in the stadium and had to, like, drag him out and just throw him onto the sidewalk. There's no way this guy got home. He was a mess. Anyway.
I don't understand how you can get drunk before a game and still enjoy it. I've never gotten drunk, so I can't really understand, but I don't understand how you can pay that much money, get so shit-faced, you probably won't even remember the game and still enjoy it.
You don't. It's just that simple fact. You do it for the party value of it. But anyway, it's just a dumb thing for me. If you go and like have like one beer, that's like acceptable to me. You don't have to get like plastered and miss like half the game. If you're gonna pay,
football's kind of the only sport that does it because baseball doesn't do that really.
No, if anything, like the student nights are like the only time that happens.
Right. So.
Yeah, but anyway, like second quarter's wrapping up. Giants are losing by like 2 touchdowns, so I'm not really watching anymore just because I'm like watching the fans to see like who's gonna like make sure none of these people like pass out or anything. So,
if a riot starts, you need to get out.
Yeah, I need to get out as soon as possible. And then it's like as soon as the second quarter was about to end, the guy like directly behind me shouted his quotable phrase one more time, and then he threw his beer on me. He straight up threw his beer on me, and I didn't want to turn around because I was turning around. I was like, "Hey, fuck face," and I didn't want to start anything because he would have kicked my ass. I didn't look at him, but from his voice, I could tell he would be able to probably kick my ass. So I didn't want to start anything, and I just wanted to be quiet. I was all by myself, first of all, so I had no backup. If I had a friend with me, I would have turned around and punched him straight in the face. But
That reminds me of the time I was at I was at like a big musical gathering or whatever. It was just like there was like a bunch of stages set up, and the very last act was the Dropkick Murphys, and I'm not a Dropkick Murphys fan, but my friends were, so it was like fine, I'll go out there, I'll watch. And like they're like halfway through their set, and all of a sudden a guy comes up behind me and open palm smacks me in the back of the head about 5 or 6 times, because apparently him and another dude were fighting, and the other dude ran into the crowd, and he lost him, and the dude was drunk, and he thought I was him, so he just started hitting me on the back of the head.
Oh my god. Was it Shamrock Fest in DC?
No, this was in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Because I have a similar Dropkick Murphy story. I was in DC at the Shamrock Fest, and we were waiting for Dropkick Murphys. I was just standing in the big crowd, and the guy right next to me starts to pee in a water bottle. Just like straight up whips it out, starts peeing like in the middle of the crowd. I turned to him and I go, "Really?" And I walked away. He's like, "Shut up. You don't understand." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Like, yes, I do.
It was the Shindig. That's what it was. It's a big rock music festival in Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, like straight up flings the beer on me. He says it one more time, directing probably right at me. And I just like jumped a little bit because I was like, okay, I just got beer thrown on me. I was either like, did he spit on me or did he chuck his beer on me? It was a lot, so I'm thinking I hope he didn't spit. But my jacket, I was like smelling my jacket. I was leaving. I was like, yep, it smells like beer. So I was like, second quarter ends, like it's all halftime, and I just basically yelled "fuck it" and I walked out. And I walked out at halftime. I'm walking back to my car, and like the parking attendant goes, "Oh, not a good game for y'all." And I was just like, "Fuck your fans, fuck your team, fuck everything about this organization. Y'all are trash. Your name is super fucking racist."
Did you say that to the parking attendant?
Yeah, I was just. And they're just like staring. It was like a group of like 3 of them. They're just like straight up staring at me like this guy is insane. Like, and I was like, "Fuck your team, fuck everything you guys stand for. Fuck Dan Snyder, fuck Kirk Cousins." I was just like, I was done. I was like done. So I'm just walking back to my car. I'm pissed off. I wasted like $70 that I could have spent on anything else. I could have saved it for something. I don't even know what. So, bottom line of the story is, I'm never going to another NFL game again.
You could have blown that money on scratch-offs and still got a better experience.
I would have got a better lesson. I'm never going to another NFL game again. I'm never going to another Redskins game ever again. I'm never stepping foot in a FedEx Field ever again. I was like, and like, I like told as I was walking out the tunnel to leave like the seating area, I stopped one of like the Redskins like stadium workers. I was like, "Hey, this guy threw a beer on me. Can you do something about it?" He goes, "Well, that's what you get for wearing the opposite team's gear." I was like, "Fuck you," and I just walked away.
That.
I was like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" Like, if I like when I worked at Camden Yards and like a Yankees fan, like say a Yankees fan comes and say, "Hey, that guy's being a jerk," and I was like, "Oh, he's an Orioles fan. All right, well, I'm gonna kick him out. He's not being respectful." Like,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck what team you root for. If you're gonna be a dick, go home.
Yeah, like that's so dumb. Yeah, it makes me just not want to go to FedEx Field ever.
No, and I thought about it too. I've been to like Nats games, Wizards games, Caps games. Nats fans are nice. I've worn like Orioles stuff to Nats Park, and I've ended up having conversations with like Nats fans. We get along fine.
Well, that's probably because most of them were Orioles fans to begin with. But
that's fair. But like it's civilized, so I don't really have a problem with all of them. I've been to Caps games. Obviously, I'm a Caps fan, but they all seem like they're nice people. Go to a Wizards game, not many people are rooting for the Wizards. They just go because it's cheap and it's like basketball. But they're nice. You just go to a Redskins game, and I don't get where do they find these people? Like, do they just like scour like northwest Virginia like to look for the most deplorable people? to just send to their games. I don't know where they find these people. Like, my friends that are Redskins fans are really nice people, and I hope they never go to any games at FedEx Field because I don't want to lump them in with these, redneck losers that probably just like, I don't understand. Like, they're the people that like go to NASCAR events, but they go to like all the things like that weekend.
Right.
Like, I lump them together. And if you're listening to this and you like NASCAR, I got news for you. It's a sport where they drive in a circle for 3 hours. So
trying to piss off as many people as possible today, aren't you?
Apparently. I'm allowed to. So
I have a podcast. I'm allowed to.
I have a spoken voice. I'm allowed to make people angry. But basically, yeah, I have no idea where the Redskins find their fans. And if you're my friend and you like them, I have no problem with you. You're nice to me. I don't have like, if you're a dick, then I have a problem with you. If you're gonna be like, well, I don't have a favorite NFL team, so you can't really insult me. I insult every team fairly, I feel like. So I get that you wanted
football in general.
Fair enough. I don't have a team to defend, but I can understand you defending yours. But I'm not gonna hate on it unnecessarily just because you like it.
Right.
I have no idea where I'm going with this, so I'm just rambling at this point.
All right, I'll stop you. That was a very great story. We need more story times with Connor on the show.
You got a couple F-bombs out of me. I apologize for that.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps up the show. So we're gonna plug ourselves and head on out. Where can we find you, Connor?
You can find me on Twitter at Connor_Gercio. You can find me at BaltimoreSportsReport.com. You can find me angrily walking away from FedEx Field.
You just the imagery, I love it.
I just stomps like dun, 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 dun. Fuck this team. God damn it. Oh, yeah, I hate everything.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at the other _ Cody. There we go. I have some old stuff on BSR if you want to read that. And that's pretty much all where you can find me. Connor, plug your website.
ConnorGercio.com. I haven't written anything in a month, so I'll start doing that again.
You paid how much for that domain name?
$26 a year.
Really?
Or no, I forget. I have the receipt in my email. I have a job. I can afford it.
I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions.
I spent $70 at a Redskins game for no reason. Don't tell me how to spend my money.
Well, obviously do, considering you left at halftime.
Well, would you have stayed?
Good point.
Like, you're by yourself. You're just in the middle of, like, Landover. You're like, all right, I've had enough. I just came home and slept. I didn't even watch the rest of the game on TV.
All right, well, that wraps up the show, guys. We will see you next week. Again, we're sorry for being a day late and $1 short with this episode, but life goes on. Say la vie, all that jazz. We will see you next week. Say bye to the nice people, Connor.
Goodbye.